Happy Monday. How you doing? Hey, my buddy, Joe Mad. How you doing? You still mad? Yeah. uh, well, there's been no report of any sighting of any floating debris, anything from the ship with its crew that went down, a fishing vessel. They officially called out the search. I mentioned it last night. After 24 hours, due to the fact that unfortunately they have far too much experience in these events. They know that, after so much time goes by, it's hopeless. You just give up. I think there was only one instance when a vessel was found by mistake. A large trawler got its net hung up on something. And it was on a boat that had gone down 4 years earlier. The crew wasn't found. They sent divers down and the bodies were. But anyway, it's not a good, happy Monday for many family and friends of those 6 commercial fishermen that lost their life at sea. Now, first part of my prediction for the NBA playoffs happened. Celtics won Game 2 last night. My prediction was they'll win the first 2, go up 2-0 on the Mavs. Now they're off to Dallas, play a couple of games. They'll win 1 out of 2. They'll come back to Boston, up 3-1, and they'll wrap it up in Boston. So now on to phase 2 of my prediction, and we just see what happens, And if it happens, then the Celtics can hoist their 18th, is it their 18th? 19th. I think they're tied at 18 with the Lakers, if I'm not mistaken, for the most championships. They'll be able to hoist another banner up at TD Garden. So, that's where we stand in sports. Now, let's see. A few eventful things over the weekend. Any word on the Power Tour? Someone said, hey, I guess, everybody's all gung-ho about shit, like with the No-Show Nationals. They got a year to prepare in advance for these events, and then last minute, oh, my car ain't ready. I heard people are already pulling out of the Power Tour. Sanford even mentioned it again. I heard people are pulling out. They're announcing, oh, I'm pulling out of the Power Tour. I won't be able to make it. That's to be expected. That's to be expected, Happens all the time. Like all these guys that think, Baby Bottle Rocket's so great, and Sanford's Cars and the rest of these junks, they're so great, How many of them would be willing to open their wallet and actually buy them and pay good money for them because they think they're so great? Yeah, right. You keep fucking waiting. Nobody wants to buy the Crypt Keeper shit he's trying to sell. Hey, how many books you selling? Huh? With your autograph to make them even more valuable. Unfucking believable. But, yeah, job, and I was doing cut and buffs on Porsche Carrera 911s. Okay. Hey, maybe next we'll do a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, Once these exotic, expensive car owners see the great job he did on this Porsche Carrera 911, they'll be lining up with their Ferraris, Jaguars, Aston Martins, Bentleys. They're going to be lining up for him to do a cut and buff on their fucking cars, make it look showroom new. That's a lot of work, man. And then wet sanding. That's a lot of work. I know just waxing a car takes its toll on your wife in a waxing, There's some physical labor involved in that, you know what I mean? Besides, wet sanding, you got to get down low on the ground, lower body panels. Job is like the fucking Crypt Keep. He can't fucking stand up for more than 10 seconds without having to lean on something. He was to try to bend down on one knee, you wouldn't be able to get back up. He'd fall over on his back. He looked like a fucking turtle on his back flapping, hoping somebody goes by and flips him back over and helps him up. Come on, get fucking serious. Hey, Joe, you mad? Because I said that? I've had a few people come along and a few subs. I don't beg for subs. I think those of you that are kind of new, you're going to find out I really don't give a flying fuck about subs, how many I have. I don't care. I did see another guy on here throwing himself a party. And they put a thumbnail of themselves smiling, all proud. Must be hit. I know him. He's one of my buddies too. Patting himself on the back, all proud of himself because he hit 23,000 subs. Wow, that's a major fucking achievement in life. You should have that put on your tombstone when you die. Here lies a man that got 23,000 subs on his YouTube channel. You know? See if I get your name right. Mike's Mopar Shop. How are you doing, Mike? Yeah, he asked me something the other day. I was talking about Sanford don't have a fucking license, you know. How can Sanford race on a track if he doesn't have a license? Isn't that a requirement? Well, it is. I know it is, but yet it isn't. A lot of things have been changing in the drag racing world, especially with this, insurgence of, 8th Mile now. Little tracks are popping up all over the place. They're not well organized. They're not structured very well. There are very little, if any, safety protocols in place. I know New England Dragway, I know when we pull in, spectators, racers, two different lines. Racers, you're going to go through tech. Before they tech out your car, they tech you up. Make sure you got a valid driver's license. You don't have a valid driver's license, they won't even bother looking at your fucking car. You either get in that lane as a spectator, you're not racing. It's the way it is. It's the way it was in Englishtown. I never raced it that close. I don't know how it was at that close. My understanding, if you actually go online, you look up the credible quarter-mile tracks, like the Motorplex in Texas. You look up their requirements to race. You'll see it, valid driver's license. Now, we got a lot of these little tracks that are popping up in a lot of southern and midwestern states. And 8th Mile is the big thing now. A lot of them, they'll let anybody race. Tech inspection, your car's got air in the tires. If they look and they see it's not pissing oil out of the fucking engine, okay, you can race. Tech inspection, what's that? The credible tracks, they carry insurance. They have to. They have to carry a liability insurance. In case a spectator, a track worker gets hurt. No, you got a car on there that's unsafe, that causes a wreck. They're going to be covered. And now when it gets looked into by the insurance, they say, wait a minute, this guy was racing. He don't have a driver's license. He did not belong on that track. That track is in deep shit. So a track's got to protect itself. They do it with an insurance policy, and there's a requirement for that too. You think these small little mom and pop tracks? I've seen some of the shit. I haven't watched it in a long time. With street outlaws and with dirty cars of the South. It is a few. These guys are fucking idiots. They're all standing right up on the fucking car at the starting line. A lot of shit can go wrong, man. And they're right up on the fucking car. Get the fuck away from that car. Get the fuck. There have been cases. New England Dragger one time, man. A guy scattered a clutch and shattered the flywheel. Where the piece of the flywheel came out, it flew about 50, 60 yards. It hit a fucking spectator in the leg. Girl's leg took like 40 or 50 stitches in her fucking leg. You know what I mean? She had been standing right up on that car. Could have lost her leg. Sanford, when he spit an axle out, whole wheel, hub, axle came right up. It was flopping all around, almost took out the tree. The track worker had to fucking run to get away from it. People are yelling, screaming, stop, stop, stop. And he's there like a doofus with his Captain America red, white, and blue helmet on. Fucking mashing that pedal. Car ends up dropping down. Besides greasing up 400 feet of track that put an end to people's racing for a while, because it needed a serious cleanup. It dug into the fucking asphalt, cut a nice groove in it. I think that was at Buffalo Valley. There are a lot of places Sanford will be able to race without a license. From what I understand, he wasn't welcome back at that track anymore. The owner was not too happy with him. Mr. Pro Racer, you lose the wheel, your car's lopsided. You don't know enough to take your fucking foot out of it. And, I have two cousins in Tennessee, David and John. David's in Morristown, John's in Bean Station. I've been there a few times to visit them since that part of my family moved down there like about 35, 40 years ago. David used to race up here when we were young. He used to race with us. And he still has the same car. My uncle bought that car brand new, a 66 Mustang. No coupe, notchback, no fastback. Had a 6 in it with an automatic. Bucket seats, but an automatic on the tree. AM radio, no frills, all completely stripped down. Didn't even have white wall tires, hubcaps. And David got his license. He gave it to David. Well, between me and my friends and David, let's say, and didn't take too long before it had a well-built 351 Cleveland in it, you know, and had a 9-inch rear end in it with 410 gears. It had a 4-speed, top loader, close ratio, and started racing it, and he's done a lot more to it over the years, and he still has it to this day. And he races all around that area. He's raced at just about every track in Tennessee, and he's raced out of state at other events. And I asked him one time, I said, hey, what's going on down there, man? Bit with Sanford. And, you know, as far as drive without a license, it's been on the news. It's like an epidemic in a lot of these southern Midwestern states. It's an epidemic of unlicensed drivers. They got tired of arresting people, taking them to jail, locking them up, getting them off the court. It became so much of a nuisance and the same people over and over and over that now they just write you a citation as if you were speeding. So Sanford, you know, but he's already been arrested twice. He's been arrested, locked up twice. He kicked and pulled a tantrum one time. There was a big write-up on it. It's actually on the internet, telling the car he was in that. It was a 73 or 74 white Roadrunner with a 340 and a 4-speed that smokes like a motherfucker. It's a real pig, too. You know, the full details. The cop wasn't nice to him. The cop was sarcastic. The cop wouldn't cooperate with him. And they actually got the cop in trouble. The cop, I don't know, the cop got suspended for something like that, whatever it was. And then, you know, that's how this guy is, man. Everything, you know, he just wants to get away with whatever he wants to get away with. But, you know, David even told me, he says, Brian, I asked him, I says, they let you guys race on a track without a license? He says, we're not at Bristol. That's David's favorite track. He loves quarter mile. He says, a lot of times, unfortunately, you know, it's fewer and fewer around, so I run what's available. I run 8th mile. But I prefer a quarter mile. He says, at Bristol, it's the same thing. He says, Brian, it's the same thing as when we used to go to New England Dragway. You pull in, they check you out with license, no license, okay. You either go home or you go over and out, weighing and buy a spectator ticket and park your car in the lot and go walk in. Your car's not getting on that track. He says, but unfortunately, a lot of these small tracks, they let almost everyone race. It don't matter. It really don't matter. You know, they're not organized. They're not running any sort of a professional way. Safety, forget about it. You know, there was one time up at New England Dragway, there was a guy around here, Danny Santos. He was a real dick. When I think about it, he kind of reminds me of Sanford. Cocky, arrogant, you know everything about everything. And his friendships with people didn't last very long either. You know, Sanford ain't the first guy I've met like that. I've met many Sanfords in the course of my lifetime. Going back to fucking school, kids are like him. You know, arrogant, cocky punks that, you know, they'll fuck anybody over. And there was a guy that lived in Fairhaven. On the backside of me was his friend. And they had quite a few track workers there, people checking, you know, teching people and then teching their cars. Oh, and by the way, Sanford's baby bottle rocket, he already failed tech with that. He went the one time he went to a quarter mile track. He failed tech. They sent him home. And I got this right from the horse's mouth, the guy that was with him. It called me. Brian, hey, guess what? What? Sanford got turned away. His car couldn't pass tech, baby. I said he probably leaned on the front. That's why that thing bounces and bounces and wobbles. He has no functional front suspension in that. And I know, he told me, he says, you know what he did? You know, him's going to save weight. He drilled holes in the front shocks, pumped them to get all the oil out of it to save that oil weight. So when you look at it, it looks like it has shocks in there, but they don't work. They're not doing shit. So that car's got nothing, you know, when the shocks keep your wheels planted on the ground. That's why that thing's bouncing all over the place like a fat chick on a fucking waterbed, you know? It has no functioning front suspension. That's very unsafe. You know? You'll get away with that at some of these little mom and pop tracks. But up in the New England Dragway, Danny Santos, his friend that was a track worker there, Danny liked to drink. He got popped for a DUI and lost his license at that time for 6 months. So now spring, summer comes along, track opens, he wants to race, you know. We drove his car up there with no fucking license. I think he was running something like, at that time, they were like C-stock automatic. He had an old Cutlass S. It wasn't a 442, it was a Cutlass S with a Rocket 400, and it was a decent looking car. He ran like in mid-14s, mid-14s with it. You know, it was pretty much all stock. I think all he always had is an aluminum intake on it, like a 390 gear in the rear, something like that. It was a heavy car. But it was a nice looking car. Not quite the look of a W30 442, a Cutlass S, but was it 72, 71 or 72, something like that. I know from 70 through 72 or 73, they all kind of look the same, or 69. Anyway, so he says, hey, listen, I'm going to go up. When you see me, his friend says, listen, don't worry about it. When I see you in line, get in the line for the races. When I see you coming up, I'll make sure that I'm the one that, you know, checks you out and gets your car in. I'll tell, you know, there's a few guys doing it. Hey, listen, I got this guy. He says, I'll get you in. So that's what he did. He got him in. Well, starts up, goes out, makes a fucking pass. Now, because of the fact that Daddy wasn't very well liked, that's what came back to bite him in the ass. A few guys in the pits from the area. And they knew he had lost his license. They went up to the track official, not a track worker, a track official, you know, in charge of supervising. Hey, that guy over there don't have a driver's license. What do you mean don't have a driver's license? Yeah. He's from New Bedford, where I'm from. He got popped for a DUI. He lost his driver's license for 6 months. He don't have a license. What's he doing racing? The official walked right over to him in the pits. Can I see a driver's license? Like a fucking deer in the headlights. How'd you get in here? Now here's where he's a nice guy. He ratted out his friend. Guy's name was Steve Santos. No relation. No relation whatsoever. Same last name, no relation. Oh, my friend Steve said it will be okay. He's the one that let me in. So, well, firstly, you get out of here, get thrown out. Official went, tracked down Steve Santos, his track worker. He was fired right on the spot and banned from the track to not even be able to come back as a spectator. You know, there are reasons why there were rules and regulations, but these days, my cousin said, Brian, you should see some of the shit that goes on in some of the small little piss hole in the snow fucking tracks around the South here in the Midwest, he says. It's fucking ridiculous. He says, some of them I wouldn't even go to. It's not safe. It's not safe, he says. I've been watching, and I'm trying to fucking focus on the guy coming down, and out of the corner of my eye, I'm seeing people walk right up to the fucking window of my car. Holy shit, now. What happens if my car clocks sideways? They start hitting people. He says, nah, he says, it's pretty fucked up these days. It's pretty fucked up these days. So anyway, Mike's Mopar Shop. And, yeah, it's one of those things, you know, how does Sanford get away with racing without a license? Well, he doesn't race at what I like to call a credible, sanctioned, well-organized, structured, supervised, safe place, okay? That's how he gets away with it. So anyway, I got some things to do today. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope you had some fun. Hope you stayed safe. And I'll catch up with you again sometime this week. When? I don't know.